What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we are here with the band famalam here in Australia. We got 7 years in. Do we regret moving to Australia now? Definitely can't relate on, definitely don't understand how it is when, you migrate to a whole nother country, let alone another state. I haven't experienced living in another state or living in another country, but I have experienced, moving and all that stuff. I know my brother, we had to move him from Texas to Florida. So, and yeah, it's a lot that you got to do, especially when it comes to IDs and those different things like that, of course. And, just, we know the difference it is just state to state. So I can only imagine the difference it is country to country, once upon a time, I always seen myself traveling, that's why I call myself the Art of the Traveler, because when I had my hoop dreams playing basketball, that I knew basketball was going to take me places, but that didn't happen for me. So it's cool that I found something else that could possibly be a reason for me to travel for the first time, at least outside the country. I planned on playing sports, basketball overseas. That was my goal. Didn't happen. That's okay, because we here now. But before we check out the band famalam, y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I got a Patreon where I do TV shows, movie reactions, those different things like that. And got the PO box, so you can send me some stuff as well. But bam famalam, do we regret moving to Australia? That's a good question. That's a good question that we're gonna get ready to hear.
About to leave, already packing.
So when we moved to Australia 7 years ago, we was a little bit naive, full of hope, and threw ourselves into our new dream life, head first.
We lived here at Sales Lifestyle Resort in Peregian Beach. We absolutely loved it. We had a 3-bed townhouse here, and it was a couple of minutes away from the beach. It had a heated pool, a barbecue.
Nice.
The actual house itself, it was a small 3-bed townhouse, but
nice.
we had to squish right into it because it was myself and Ben. We had one room. We had an au pair at the time. She had another room. And then our 3 girls were actually sharing a room.
Ooh,
it was very tight. But we lived here really happily for the first 5 months until we purchased our first house.
That's nice.
Naivety is a really good thing sometimes. If we would have known what was coming, we might have reassessed whether we wanted to move to Australia.
So we had a dream mapped out of
That's
what
for
we
sure.
wanted when we moved to Australia. We wanted to go for beach walks, and we wanted to live in a big, modern, double-storey home. We also wanted a stress-free life with enough spare cash to enjoy new adventures. And we were happy to work hard for it, obviously.
I feel that. I think I just seen a video, or I did a video of Miss Caitlin Amanda's, and she was saying that, some people live comfortably, but some people want to get ahead, and I understood that. I felt that because I know some people might be putting away for a rainy day and those things, but I'll be thinking, I need to put this away to go enjoy myself too. The rainy days are going to come, but those days that you can enjoy yourself don't come too often. So if we're going to live by the beach and all that, we need to be enjoying this stuff, Got
new adventures. And we were happy to work hard for it, obviously.
We'd be lying if we said that the last 7 years had been easy.
I
And
can
to tell you
imagine.
the truth, it took us a good 3 years to settle.
Wow.
It took us a lot of time to settle financially, as we spent a lot of money when we first moved over.
bet.
It also took us time to settle socially, because it's
I wonder how much money it took them to move. Going to a different country, especially if you're taking your belongings or just starting fresh. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine that, because I remember when my brother, when he just went to Florida, all he had to take was his clothes. And when we got to Florida, we bought new things there, but he couldn't really take. I'm sure it's a lot of money if you're, trying to take all your stuff via flight, and yeah, I'm sure they had to start fresh.
when we first moved over. It also took us time to settle socially, because it's not unusual when you first move over for friends to come and go. It does take time to settle with this and to really find your people.
And the first 3 years gave our relationship a bit of a beating. You have to be on really good terms to emigrate together, because even the closest of relationships can feel those stresses.
He preaching. He preaching. He is preaching because it's tough out here, especially when one person like let's do it, and the other person like not saying that there's such, but I be like, man, I can't just think for me. I gotta think for four. I gotta think for three others, myself and three others. So I can see how big of a decision that is. Just like I'm thinking about it now, because I wanted to move to San Antonio here in Texas, because it's nice. It's nice, It's different. It's a bigger city, but you just everything just start. I kid you, everything just start coming to mind. Like you just start thinking about, oh, what about family, or what about this, what about that? It's like everything just start. It all hit you at once, especially when you're like, hey, let's move, and it's like, but. It's big.
To emigrate together, because even the closest of relationships can feel those stresses. We worked really hard to stay on the same page and not let our stresses come between our relationship.
Fortunately, we both wanted the same thing. When we first were thinking about making the move to Australia, one of the non-negotiables that we had was that we would always be able to fly back if there was an emergency.
Yeah.
We've always kept money aside for that very situation. But what we hadn't anticipated would be a global pandemic that would shut all of the borders down and actually stop us from travelling altogether for a few years. So there are things that, despite your best planning, that you actually can't control. Yeah. And this meant that one of our non-negotiables was suddenly up in the air.
So in 7 years, we've encountered a few natural disasters, which has required us to pay close attention to everything going on around us for the sake of our safety. We've had to learn a lot about how to handle situations which are completely alien to us.
Especially COVID, man. COVID was one of those. Yeah, that was, like she said, that was one of those. There was nothing you really could do about it. You try to do right, but when you have those mandated, you got to stay home and stuff, it's tough. We just had like a 3-day snow day, like roads super icy and stuff. It is, oh my God, I can't imagine like just staying at home all day, can't get out. That is tough. It's tough, and COVID was one of those times where everybody was just ready to get out and do something.
How to handle situations which are completely alien to us.
Despite the mountain of problems that we've faced over the last few years.
I don't know. They had some pretty nice sceneries too. Like, I'm listening, but they popping up everywhere.
But I did that.
That's nice.
We've managed to turn it around out of sheer determination and to create the dream that we really, really wanted Australia to be for our family.
It did take a while, but we did end up finding our friendship circle. We surrounded ourselves with friends that we adore and have similar values to us.
It is pretty bamming hot here where we live on the Sunshine Coast, so we have created an outdoorsy lifestyle for ourselves. We love nothing more than to get outside in nature. And there's been one massive bonus to living here, which is that my hay fever is nowhere near as bad as it was in the UK.
Another unexpected twist to our 7-year Australia story is that we ended up living on a 10-acre hobby farm. This hadn't been in our plans, but it has enriched our lives with a whole load of new challenges and experiences. Living in Australia has brought a whole lot of unexpected experiences in our direction.
We have a big fat 0 regrets to moving to Australia, and the reason why is that any hardships that we may have faced have just taught us a lesson. And in all fairness, life wouldn't be much of a challenge if everything was too easy. The reason why we're thriving in Australia is because we've worked awfully hard at it, even when we've had struggles. If you enjoyed this video, there is plenty more coming in this Moving to Australia series, but in the meantime, you can check out this one.
Take my hand, we'll make.
Yeah, that's nice. That I'm telling you, like they were speaking facts on it. They were speaking facts. Like I said, it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision, and like those hardships and all those times, that's gonna test you. That's what's gonna test you, because sometimes when bad things come, I believe, but especially when you're younger, when bad things happen, people are like, "Oh, that's a sign that you shouldn't do it." But really, especially when I got older, I realized when bad things happen, it's just a test to see, do you really want this? Are you going to stick around through the good and the bad? Because sometimes it's so easy to stay when things are good, but what about when things are bad? Like, what is your mind going to be then? Are you going to give up? Are you going to keep going? What are you going to do? And being older, that's when I realized, like, bad things are going to happen. They're going to come. It don't matter who you are, you know. Good and bad times are going to come, but it's how you react to the situation. Because they could have been like, oh, dang, this ain't working out. But it took 7 years. Of course, that seemed like a long time, but once you living through it, it's like, you look back, it's like, dang, we where we want to be. Even though it took 7 years, we took those baby steps. Baby steps are still progress, you know? So that's how I see it. That's my fault. I'm giving y'all TED Talk and stuff, you know? I do a little bit of motivation, inspiration and stuff like that, but I always talk about just the mindset and baby steps. Baby steps is still progress, as long as you moving forward and not backwards. So, but this was good. Gotta live life with no regrets. Like I said, I don't know. Y'all might. I'm only 27. You know, if you see me pop up and I stopped doing videos and just living my best life in Australia, you know. Just know Dar doing good. There's no Dar doing good. The family doing good. And we done made a big move. We moved in silence. I probably hit the lottery or something, you know. But I enjoy this. Definitely enjoyed. I've checked out 2 or 3 other videos from the Bam Fam. So great family. But that's all I have for this video. Y'all make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Hey, subscribe to your boy Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Movies, TV shows, those different things like that. But that's all I have. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.